humanitarian situation on the other side is unbelievable. Unbelievable. The needs. And I've crossed over several times into Burma illegally, but I've gone to deep inside Karen State, for like 12 days by land to see IDPs and the conditions and the field hospital, the field clinics. It's horrible. No antibiotics, no painkillers, doing surgeries with no painkillers, like we've heard about Gaza. So we're really happy that, and that's the kind of thing ASEAN can say. The Thais don't dare say it. That's the leverage that you all have, and I really appreciate all the work APHR has continued to do. It's really, really necessary, and it's much appreciated.
How long are you here? When are you heading back?
I'm going back to Mesa in the morning. Shalida's going tonight. And she said, she said, you ride with me. I said, you didn't tell me. I already bought the plane ticket.
Oh, you Shalida is going to?
She's going tonight. And we're going to see each other there. And then from there, I'm going to also go up to Myanmar. So thank you so much.
Energy you guys have.
Look forward to it.
Hey. How are you, man? How are you? Good to see you. She's Indonesian. Good try. Good try.
Sama-sama.
Oh, you can speak Tagalog.
Yeah.
I'm from the Philippines.
Very nice.
Yeah.
This is Jennifer. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Yeah.
I also work with FCT on the program today.
So I'm very good. I'm the new deputy director. So I now oversee Malaysia.
And I, oh my gosh.
Yes. Happy to talk.
I was wondering whether you know my secret speak Tagalog.
No.
And I'm wondering, how come you don't speak Tagalog with me?
I mean, not a business that's making money, but okay, check.
Yeah.
Giving a talk and then morning coming.
Yeah, okay.
Small.
Yeah, it's very small. Well, Bangkok's not far from Macau. Yeah, but we have some research coming out next year on Malaysia.
Jen,
On immigration.
what time do we supposed to start with?
And then I think, ideally, we don't have a full-time research study on Malaysia. And we're hoping to do
They will open. They will open.
Oh no, then. Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, we can chat sometime. How long are you in Bangkok?
I think 2.5 years.
Okay, well, we can talk after.
Yeah, let's talk.
Yeah.
I need to touch up with that, but very quickly we get.
Yeah, sure. Or we can always do a call or something. Let's do that. Okay.
Good seeing you.
Yeah, so nice to meet you.
She's the former director of Forum Asia. Shalini.
Former director of
Forum Asia.
Forum Asia.
Sorry.
So we started the Facebook Live already. So just say we're starting in 2 minutes.
Folks, ladies and gentlemen, we'll start in exactly 1.5 minutes though. Okay, let's start. Let me just begin by extending our greetings of peace and solidarity to all our media friends and others who have joined us this evening. This program is an hour. We will finish in an hour's time. And the purpose of this program is actually to put forward the state of affairs around humanitarian involving Myanmar refugees, as well as recommendations that we would like to put forward for consumption of our governments, UN bodies, including NGOs. There was a trip, a fact-finding mission to Mae Hong Son and Mae Saryang, sorry about that, Mae Saryang, which involved 6 members of parliament, 4 from Thailand, 1 from Indonesia, and 1 from Malaysia. Our Thai MPs are unable to join us today because of an important vote they had to take in parliament at this very moment, so they are unable to join us. But we are fortunate to have our own chairperson of ASEAN Parliamentarians for Human Rights, Ibu Mercy Barans, with us, as well as YB Dr. Kelvin Yee is also who joined the fact-finding mission, also with us, and also Shalida. I can never pronounce the last name. Transak, okay, you got it there. Who's also the chairperson of the People's Empower Foundation. But before we start, formally we start, let me just give you a background of why we did this humanitarian exercise. Why did we this fact-finding exercise involving humanitarian issues surrounding Myanmar? Last year, the ASEAN Parliamentarians for Human Rights was involved in a huge report outlining the state of affairs of Myanmar. And we came out with this report called Time is Not on Our Side, the failed international response to the Myanmar coup. This report actually was put together by 8 or 9 different MPs, 3 from Southeast Asia, 2 from Africa, 1 from the US, and another one from the European Parliament. So that's 3, 5, 7, 8 of us altogether who put this report together. And one of the findings of the report was to bring attention to the humanitarian or the worsening humanitarian crisis that the people of Myanmar are facing. And we had put forward some recommendations at that time that ASEAN needs to focus and relook its own strategies involving use of the AHA Center as the vehicle to solve the humanitarian crisis in Myanmar. That was one. And number 2, we also said there was a need for more funds that need to support the ongoing, to address the worsening problems of humanitarian crisis in Myanmar, and so on. So this year, we thought we should follow up with our initial findings. And these findings, as you are familiar, is part of our advocacy campaign that we will feel through members of parliament in the various parliamentary caucuses, as well as working with our friends and colleagues for members of parliament outside of ASEAN, the European Parliament, and elsewhere. So that's a bit of a background on why this mission took place, though. And let me just welcome the Honorable Mercy Barans, the APHR's chairperson and member of parliament from Indonesia, to offer us the state of affairs, what exactly is happening in Myanmar, that's number 1, in the state of, with involving humanitarian problems. And then that will be followed by the Honorable Kelvin Yee, who will talk about the recommendations, and that will be supported by Shalida as well. So without further ado, let me just welcome Honorable Mercy.
Thank you very much, Charles. Very good morning for all, especially for the journalists on site with us, and and online as well, especially for work strongly for democracy in Asian regions. I would like to express our gratitude and thankful for all of you to come here and join with us, and how to inform to the international, Asian regionals and others institutionals about the situation about the Myanmar. As Charles mentioned before about the second fact-finding missions, actually on behalf of APHR, I would like to say thank you for all the related stakeholders from the both sides, Myanmar and from the Thai authorities and CBO and other organizations to support these fact-finding missions. As general information for all of you, that the fact-finding missions already done since 4 days, since 13 to 16th, and there are 4 intensive days on the field, and we got a lot of bigger information, bigger view related with the situation real on the grounds related with the refugee of Myanmar at the border area, Thai and Myanmar. So I can say that the situation related with the refugee of Myanmar at the Thai and Myanmar border, there are several, maybe I can separate in 5 points to be raised now. The first one is related with the health issue. The second one is related with the education issue. The third one is related with the shelter and security. Fourth, humanitarian aid. And the last one is the situations of women and children. Actually, first, on behalf of APHR, I want to urge the junta militaire to stop all kinds of atrocity, all kinds of violences to the civilians, because give a lot of misery for all the civilians, especially from the ethnic group to be attacked with all kinds, especially with airstrikes and bombs, because now many of them are murdered, killed. Most of them lost their houses, lost their family, husband, wife, children, and many beloved people surrounding them. Although they lost their identity now, most of them stateless now in the border area. So that's why they face many problems related with the undocumented IDPs. They related many problems related how to respond to the emergency issues with the healthcare issues, security issues, education issues, water and sanitation issues, and so forth. So that's why, once again, we urge the junta militaire to stop all kinds of atrocities to the civilians of Myanmar. The second one's related with the key findings from the fact-finding missions of APHR. Especially, I can highlight some important issues. First, related with the health issues. At the border clinic in my song and in my Sareang, provide housing for patients from Shan states who needed to take medical service for injury, surgery, and antenatal care according to the criteria from donors such as the International Rescue Committee. The primary purpose is to provide accommodation for waiting during the medical service at My Song Hospital in Thailand. Actually, there are several situations that to be tackled emergency. First, related with the acute patients who want to get the treatment as soon as possible. They face many problems related with the stock of medicine. They face many problems related with the facility of the healthcare issues on the ground. The third, related with the doctors and paramedics. And the fourth is related with the administrations at the border area, because many administrations problems, they have to be solved until they get the referral mechanism from the border area into the Thai hospital. So that is the real problem to be needed and have to be solved emergency on the field from the Thai authority and other institution to work on the field. The second one is related with the how to supply all the medical, how to make the medical workers can come directly to the camps, can come directly to the temporarily safety camps facilitated by the Thai authority, because this is under the Thai authority, under the National Military Council regulation and authority. So they face many challenges related to go inside and tackling the situation directly on the field in the temporary camps. So related with this health issue. And the third one is related for the pregnant woman, infant after the delivery, and antenatal after the delivery, the baby. The situation is very unstable, and on that situation, we do hope that maybe the Thai authority can protection, especially for the safety zone, especially for the vulnerable groups, especially for a pregnant woman, antenatal woman after delivery, the baby, infant baby, elder, and the other one is for disabled person. The second one is about the education problem on the field. Many of IDP camps, they host many activity of educational, but actually they lack many instruments and elements to support the education, especially for the children's, for the young generations. So for the formal, we didn't talk about the formal curriculum, we didn't talk about the formal education, but actually in this situation, all the generation can get the basic education in the camp, so they can get like a proper environment to be taught by all the teachers in the camp. The second one is related with the there is no, because most of them are undocumented IDPs, so many of them face many problems related with how to go to the higher level of education, because there is no certification, there is no administrations about the identity of the children and etc. So that's why we urge the international community, we urge the Thai community, we urge the Asian leaders, Asian community to think more about the situation, because if we didn't respond to this situation, so we lost the generations of Asian young generation, especially from the Myanmar children. So that's why it's very important to set up whatever the name, like ethnic cultural education, because many of them have many problems related with the language. So how to support them, to facilitate them to get the education, to learn some foreign language like Thai language or English language or other language, so they can better education, they can get like officially certification at the time, and then they can go to everywhere they want to get the proper education for their future of life. The third one is related with the shelter and security. For the shelter and security, I would like to express our in the other sides when we 1 minute. When we run the first fact-finding missions, we do understand that that the Thai government try to adjustment all the regulation and policy making on the refugee on the field to treatment them under the human rights regulations. So in this situation, much better, but for the shelter and security, we do hope that the, because many problems related with the water sanitations, related with the capacity of the volume of the, what we call it, of the humanitarians aid, like food, what kind of, what we call it, sanitary napkins for women, etc., etc. So it's very important, and milk and other nutritions for the children. So because we get information, many children are now in malnutrition situation. So we do hope that all the international organization, UN and other organization, including Asian AHA Center, can do something to support the humanitarian aid, especially in the emergency situation right now. And we do hope that in the safety shelter zone facilitated by the authority, Thai authority, not run the screening only for 3 things: for drugs, for drugs, the second one for gun or weapon, and the third one for the diseases. But they only can do something more, humanity screening, especially for the asylum seeker or for the migrant workers of the IDPs or refugee, to do something better for the future lives. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Saibu.
Thank you.
Honorable Calvin, can I ask you to present?
Okay.
Keep it short though. Just maybe 2-3 points. First
Okay.
2 points.
Okay, thank you so much, Charles, and of course, members of the media and friends of APHR. So based on our fact-finding trip, we have some main key recommendations that we're going to talk about. I think number one is involving health. Second is involving education. Third is, of course, situation of women and children, humanitarian aid, and of course, how can we improve and strengthen the humanitarian mechanism of delivery. I think when it comes to health, I think one of the main things is how we increase capacity for not just physical health, but also of mental health. We know that a lot of the victims, including women, that are being traumatized, not just by the conflict itself, but in terms of safety, security, as well as economic concerns of whether there's food on the table. So that's where we want to push for greater training and support for these healthcare workers, both physical and mentally, in the areas that have been affected. We also want to push to help build community relations between Thailand and Myanmar along the border, where border health aims to build sister villages where there is the distribution of resources, whether medications, and that is where we also want to see greater funds and support and resources into medication, not just medications for trauma, but more importantly, medications to deal with chronic diseases like diabetes, hyperlipidemia, hypertension, and so forth, and even have funds so that patients of severe diseases, for example, cancer, can get the necessary treatment, and then the doctors do not have to make decisions who to treat and who to just let go. We also push to support the establishment of a health information system, so there's greater medical records for those affected, and this is very important, especially for children who we need medical records for their immunization history. We do not want, due to the conflicts, that children do not get the needed immunization and vaccination, because this itself will cause future problems when it comes to spread of infectious disease. And that is where I think we believe is important to establish and also to focus upon. And we want to push to establish a border hospital in Myanmar, and of course to build capacities for the health officers and hospitals, to reduce the number of patients need to be transferred to Thailand for treatment. We also push for better referral system, where in certain cases maybe a health pass could be issued so that the whole process and facilitation of transfer of patients from Myanmar to Thailand hospitals could be done more swiftly, and they can get the needed help as soon as possible. Of course, I think there's greater need for greater health awareness programs even within those affected in the camps, when this involves not just this involves reproductive health, family planning, infectious disease control, hygiene, and environmental hygiene, so on and so forth. In terms of education, I think it is important that the international community must fund, support, and recognize ethnic education system. They also must fund local pathways to education and service providers, increase training and supply materials for both teachers and students. And this also includes building capacities and find recognition for students that have finished primary and secondary, so that they have a pathway into tertiary educations, so that we do not lose out a whole generation of children due to the conflict itself on the education level. We also want to see increasing of technical training for the young people, including agriculture training, buildings of dams and so forth that is needed necessity in their situation, and of course capacity and leadership training as we transition and prepare them to rebuild their nation after the conflict. We also push for global actors must advocate for international law to be upheld in Myanmar, and take action against those that deliberately cause destruction of property, especially schools, because this is not just a security threat, but it's very disruptive to the education of the students and will affect basically their long-term and education process. I think when it comes to shelter and security, we want to push and urge strongly again to suspend all political and financial support to the military regime, and impose immediate sanctions on the military-owned and controlled companies. Now with the increasing airstrikes, we also want to push for international community to impose sanctions on supply of aviation fuel to the military regime. In terms of situation for women and children, I think we, international community, must push for greater empowerment of the women, including training programs, livelihood trainings, mental health support, and also leadership training, because we believe that the women has an important role and not seen merely as victims, but actually resilient actors and agents of change that can take leadership on a local level. On the humanitarian aid, of course, I think the United Nations, international donors, ASEAN has a very significant role to play. We need to increase funding and resources allocated to this humanitarian assistance in Myanmar. We also need to create safe zones, humanitarian corridor, especially on the areas, and I mean this will be discussed, but basically for safe passage to ensure those that need help are properly facilitated and they get the necessary help available. We need to empower ASEAN to engage to push for humanitarian corridors along the borders of Myanmar, and this is not just Thailand, but countries such as India, China, Laos, Bangladesh, and of course Thailand, and with a united ASEAN voice, there is stronger bargaining power to push, because and we also need to be proactive to push for stronger, more comprehensive and robust humanitarian corridor in view of possible escalation of the conflict, and of course escalation and increase of possible IDPs. And that is where we need to be proactive to ensure that all needs, humanitarian aids, medicine, education, so on and so forth, are properly provided in those times. We also push to create a special funding arrangement for ethnic, local, or community-based organizations by creating or even strengthening existing consortiums or special grants with flexible requirements for registered and unregistered organizations to work together. I think for the main mechanism for humanitarian works, I think certain policies changes needs to be emphasized, and this includes more detailed definition of terminologies in the national laws, including on refugees, IDPs, cross-border humanitarian corridors, safe space, safe peace zones, temporary shelters based on local contexts and practices, as well as more a comprehensive process of repatriation. I think the different CBOs, NGOs, and different groups must also work together stronger, has a network of knowledge sharing, as well as together map out good practices, lesson learned, and work together to address this issue on a more targeted and comprehensive manner. And we also want to see an establishment of a local-based multi-stakeholder community. That means community leaders from both sides of CBOs in Myanmar as well as in Thailand and the different neighboring countries to work together to ensure delivery of humanitarian aid, delivery of services, whether education or healthcare is being done in a comprehensive, smooth, and targeted and effective manner. With that, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Can I invite Shalida to go?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I think that there are some few points that is missing. The first point is about the Thai policy on humanitarian and also Thai policy on the foreign affairs policy of Thailand with the ethnic group. That it should be strengthened and make it more concrete. I think that from this fact-finding mission, that we hope that some of our MP, there are 4 Thai MP that join with this field trip, and we hope that they will bring the issue that to be discussed in the parliamentarians, and also hope that Thailand will come out with a good policy to support humanitarian and also to support make more clear with the policy on humanitarian and also foreign affairs for ethnic friend along Thai-Myanmar border. The second point that also Kevin also raised is up about the safety zone. It's very important to set up the safety zone along Thai-Myanmar border. There are discussions that it should be in Thailand side, or it should be inside Myanmar side, and what it look like. But however, it need to consultation, meeting, and also improve the model and mechanism of the safety zone. Usually, if they don't have any safety zone, it cannot guarantee that people will live with safety in that area. The information that we got from friends on the ground, in 1 month, the IDP is moving around 5 to 10 places every month. So it's very difficult for the IDP inside Myanmar, that if they don't have any areas that they can living and also settle maybe a little bit for a while, it will be very difficult for all of them. And we think that this idea will be welcomed by Thai officer, that we also, when we meeting with the Thai authorities in Mae Hong Son and also Mae Sariang, they also welcome with this idea, but it should be improved more. And the second point that I would like to raise is about the Burmese organization who working to deliver the humanitarians inside Myanmar. This is very crucial for all of them, because we as an international or national NGO in Thailand, we cannot do inside Myanmar. Usually to delivery humanitarian assistance, it should be the Burmese organization. And they face very difficulty sometimes, and they have many landmines inside. Sometimes when they brought the humanitarian to support the people, they can meet with the SEC military. If they meet with the Tatmadaw, they will be arrested or maybe killed. But however, they take risks to bring the humanitarian to support their own people. And usually many of the NGOs, Burmese NGOs, they're not registered in Thailand, and they're doing like illegal in Thailand. So this is the point that we also would like to set up some mechanism to protect our friend, to do something inside, peace, how to say, legally, But however, when we met with the authorities the last day when we come here, the authorities said that they are not stop them to do that, they can do. But however, the Thai government, Thai authority will work with the NGO who register under the Ministry of Interior. So why the idea of the consortium NGOs that working for humanitarian is also come up, that maybe it's possible for some Thai NGOs to create this consortium and then bring many undocumented, unregistration Burmese friends to be part of the consortium and work together. That is the idea, and we hope that we should be continue with that and bring that to the policy level. I also asked Thai MP who sit over there to bring this idea also to discuss in the parliament and also to make it possible to protect our Burmese NGOs who working very difficulty inside Myanmar, and they are so afraid to be here in Thailand. Okay, and the last point that I would like to raise, to let you know that the hospital along Thai-Myanmar border from Mae Sot to Mae Hong Son, they also take care with many of the refugee IDP Myanmar, and the budget of the hospital is more than 100 million baht, and usually they don't have anyone that support this cost of the hospital. So we hope that the international community or donor they can help with the local hospital along Thai-Myanmar border. Thank you.
Thanks, Shalida. Dao Susanna is also with us today, and she's actually the Minister for Women and Children's Affairs, and she's a member of the APHR as well. So we also have asked her to say a few words. Susanna, it's all yours. You have exactly 2.5 minutes. Though.
Yeah. Thank you, Charles, for the opportunity that I have a chance to talk here. So thanks to the APHR fact-finding mission that we have met last 2 days ago in the border area, and we have shared some information and then what happened in Myanmar. And I myself have a chance to join here in the press conference. So I think Chalida and Kelvin and Mercy, they have been explain and give information a lot. For me, as I base in the border and then traveling around in a current state and current state, and then I have my experience firsthand with the community there. So there are nearly 3 million people displaced after the coup, and the thousands of people died during the military operation, especially the SAC used airstrike to do their operation in civilian area, targeting hospitals, targeting schools, and many children and women and old people, they died during the airstrike. So since then, according to our ministry record, the women who died during the operation is 871 women, and the children died 529. But the last 2 days ago, the airstrike hidden to the Chin state, Matupi, and then 8 children die more. So we have to add the number. So I really are sorry, heartbroken whenever we have to add the number of casualties of the civilian. But it is a reality. The people die daily, and then targeting the civilian, targeting the villages that the most of the women and children. So regarding the sexual assault and rape case, we have recorded we have 223 rape case perpetrated by the military. So these are the number of cases. Some of the cases include like 4 or 5 girls and women in a case, like they perpetrated in the gun rape. So when I visit to the IDP camps in Karen and Karenni, we have found out that it is the lack of medicines and nutrition for the children and for the women, and no vaccine for the children after the coup. So after 2021, there is no vaccine for the children in the ethnic area in the camps. And they also face with some terrible social problem in the camps, like the scarcity of food and water, like the IDPs have because of the more population there, the local people and IDP fight for the water, fight for the food, and more GBV, gender-based violence and rape case and crime happen in the camps, and especially the shelter are not safe enough for them. It has been built for more than 2 years. Most of the camps are built construction with bamboo and also the plastic, so that the infrastructure are now not in good shape. And so it is not safe for the girls and children and women. And as a women, youth and children ministry, we have done a lot of service and provision of needed medicines, and also for the pregnant women, and for the like counseling center, and support for the rape victim. So we have done so many programs with the local authorities and EAO, ERO, and their respective area. We have issued the code of conduct for the People Defense Force on 2021 May. And we also rectified the policy of PSHEA, protection of sexual harassment, exploitation, and abuse in 2023 March. And we have been reporting the condition of women, youth, and children every year to the UN Assembly. So as a government, we are revolution government, not the normal one. So we have so many resource limitation, like budget and human resources, but we have worked with the CDM staff and local network and CSO to reach out to the needy population. And the CDM doctors set up the hospital in the jungle under the cave, and they provide the health service to the IDPs, to the local people. So we also have the good case study of in 2021 we can bring the COVID vaccine to the cross border, to the current area, to Karenni.
Zena, you need to wind up.
Okay, so this is the good case study that cross-border collaboration. So I would like to highlight that we need a lot of support for the local-based organization, cross-border aids, and also diplomatic platform to engage to stable country and our future hope for the a stable region and international as an international family. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Tom. Let me just contextualize our discussion from the perspective of the region, though. That is ASEAN. On April 24th, 2021, the ASEAN heads of government in Jakarta came up with something called the 5-point consensus. The 5-point consensus basically was supposed to bring normalcy or democracy back to Myanmar. And one of the important points, or the second point in the 5-point consensus, is to provide humanitarian support for Myanmar. Now, we are now into the third year. We are into the third year after Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, and we are now going to the fourth year in terms of calendar years, fourth year. And we find that the humanitarian situation in Myanmar has got worse. We heard the reports from Ibu Mercy and the chilling information from Dao Susanna, 3 million people displaced. And that may be the tip of the iceberg, though, because Myanmar is a huge country and it borders India on one side, China on the other side, Thailand on the other side. So it could be much, much more higher. But the point basically is the humanitarian situation has got far worse than what was before. So therefore, the question then to ask is, has the ASEAN's humanitarian effort through the AHA Center helped to resolve or help to manage or help to address some of these humanitarian issues? And clearly the answer is no. ASEAN has failed in the political dialogue, 3 years, it's just no action, talk only. And then in terms of humanitarian effort, it is the same though. In fact, it is worse than the political situation. So therefore, people have become the victims. So where do we go now though? Where do we go? And I think this is where we need to look at what Ibu had raised, the issue of the violence has to stop. The bombs have to stop. The bombs have to stop. The violence has to stop though. Okay, this is really quite important because the bombs are largely responsible to create more refugees, pushing them away from their villages, from their neighborhoods into the border areas though. The bombs are doing it. If you go to Mesot, you can hear the bombs falling though in the neighborhood areas. So therefore, I think we really have to start looking at what are the ways to stop, at least in the short run, short medium run. And I think the whole effort to boycott jet fuel, or not to bring jet fuel into Myanmar is an important one though. That campaign has to be taken more seriously. Governments, Thailand for example, Malaysia for example, Singapore for example, and all of ASEAN has to play an important role. And therefore I think we have to make an important call that if we want to manage the humanitarian crisis, then ASEAN has to make a decision on the jet fuel going to Myanmar. And just be informed that jet fuel is not dropping from heaven though. It is coming through the ports. And these ports are also not dropping from heaven, but it's actually going through our country's ports with different names, with different configurations, with different, I was told even that these boats are all repainted when they come to our parts of the world with new names, with new owners and so on and so forth. But the point is, it is happening, and therefore ASEAN has to put more attention to stop the jet fuel import into Myanmar. I think this is really, really quite important though. I think the further point that both Ibu and as well and Calvin had raised is the issue of, yes, we need more healthcare, yes, we need more education, we need technical support and so on and so forth. And therefore what it really means is we need more aid, we need more support, we need more financial support in the humanitarian question. Now, last year when I was involved in this campaign, when I went to Mesot together with Ibu, and also to Jan has also joined us, one of the things that the humanitarian groups told us is the funds have been cut. And why the funds have been cut? Because the European donors have now moved some of the money into a place called Ukraine, which doesn't exist anymore though. After Palestine, Ukraine has disappeared completely from our televisions and from our newspapers, though. So maybe now we have to think out how to bring that money back into Myanmar. So this is really quite important because one, at the most immediate level, it can provide all the recommendations that Kelvin had raised for food, for technical support, for medicine in the short run. But also, this money is important because we have to rebuild the nation, though. We have to rebuild the nation, which has been war with itself for a very, very long time, though. For a very, very long time. And what Ibu Mercy had said, that there is a lost generation here. A generation without education, with just quite clueless, hopelessness, and therefore this generation has to be, the needs of this generation has to be addressed. The needs of the nation in terms of skills development, in also managing local governance or local municipalities in some places. This has to be encouraged. So therefore, going forward, this aid can go into one immediately for support for food, water, electricity, healthcare, education. Also in rebuilding the nation in terms of building capacity in the local communities on how you manage these local communities at the different state levels and also at the district levels, and also to build capacity that you need in the long run to manage these states. So it's actually both one to solve immediate problems, at the same time to look at the larger issues of rebuilding the nation, though, especially on rebuilding capacity at the local level. This is something that has to be prioritized, though. So, and the last point is basically, so what can ASEAN do? What can ASEAN do? So, one of the recommendations that we have been thinking about, and it may be time to float it, is that ASEAN needs to set up an ASEAN humanitarian fund. An ASEAN humanitarian fund which works together with international agencies who have expertise to work in a conflict environment, together with countries that are also who've got specialization and competencies working in conflict environment. This is really quite important. The AHA Center cannot do the job, to be fair. They can take care of floods, they can take care of maybe landslides and so on. But when it comes to a conflict environment, they cannot operate. And more importantly, they are being used by the army to get food and support to areas that are loyal to the army and to the government in power. So therefore, there's a need to rethink. So therefore, I think ASEAN needs to play an important role here, though. And mind you, we were also told this morning in a separate briefing that we are looking at almost 700,000 potential refugees. 700,000 potential refugees that are going to come into ASEAN, though. That some of them will float into ASEAN, making it an ASEAN problem. So ASEAN needs to be proactive. ASEAN needs to be proactive and it needs to do something right now before it comes to the borders of all of our countries. So therefore, I think the call essentially is, one, ASEAN needs to step up and also to get a better strategy on managing the problem, including the humanitarian effort and strategies that they have put forward, but which has shown or demonstrated to be a total, outright, and unmitigated failure. So therefore, this is a call. The purpose of the fact-finding mission is to look at the situation and clear from the 3 or the 4 presentations we had. It is quite clear that the situation has worsened and ASEAN is sleeping on the job, though. So therefore, it's time for ASEAN to step up and to take up the issue of humanitarian support and addressing humanitarian questions as an urgent priority for the region. Otherwise, it is going to become a regional problem, which is something that I'm sure all countries want to avoid. I'll stop here. Thank you very much, though. Do there any questions from the media or friends have any questions?
I have one point. When Clark Charles also said that they don't have money for humanitarian for Myanmar. I think that they have a lot of money, humanitarian for Myanmar, but however, they have very bad management. The money go to Tatmadaw, the money go to the city, the money go to the international organization who didn't know how to contribute the money to the IDP people who living in the border, living in the fighting zone. But the money go to the city, so that why the money will not reach to the real need of the people who really need of that money. So I think that this should be considered. The donor, it should be considered when you give the money to support for humanitarian in Myanmar, you should be considered who that you should give it and who it should be the host organization that should be take care with this management with this money to make sure that all of every cent of the money go to the IDP people and didn't go to the Tatmadaw or go to the someone else.
Thanks. Any questions, comments? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I have a question regarding what steps you think ASEAN could take to liaise with the Thai government regarding the security on the ground in areas where there are large numbers of Myanmar people displaced who have no legal status, to curb the reports of extortion and also the threats of refoulement to send people back to Myanmar. Thank you.
Well, the answer to the question is the 2-day seminar. Because ASEAN has slept for 3 years though. So you have to go maybe 1 day for 1 year, second day, third year. I think ASEAN needs to have political will, which it lacks at this time in resolving the issue of Myanmar. And that's partly because of the diverse or division within ASEAN vis-a-vis Myanmar. You have one side, you have Cambodia, you have Laos, and on the other side you have Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines, and Thailand is part of the Cambodia team. But I'm not sure of what the new government's position is. But it'll be quite instructive to figure out or to find out what exactly is the new government's or Thai government's policy on this. And from what I've been talking to people, it is not clear or they have not come out with a clear plan or direction on Myanmar itself. But that is not to say that ASEAN should keep quiet though. ASEAN actually can now also play a positive role. In its next meeting that will take place, I think, March or April next year, they can actually review the humanitarian efforts that have taken place and then begin a process of discussion with the Thai government on how to address some of these concerns. So I think there needs to be a bit of an imagination as well as the political will on the part of ASEAN to actually wanting to address the problem. It's going to be a challenge next year because the chair of ASEAN next year is Laos. And Laos is seen as an ally of Myanmar. So, however, you have Indonesia and Malaysia as part of the Troika. That was something that was proposed in the last meeting of ASEAN, heads of government. So we just have to wait and see how this is going to pan out though. And also I think the political parties in Thailand also can play a role. This should be discussed at the Thai Parliament, and the Thai Parliament maybe should reflect on some of these questions.
As a Thai NGO, and I think that the Thailand should play important roles for humanitarian support because we have a long border with the Myanmar and also mostly the IDP people is a long Thai-Myanmar border. I think we as a Thai NGOs together with the Thai MP will cooperate and also working together to support to make a policy change for Thailand. We also start to do something right now to meet with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and also maybe Prime Minister itself, or maybe advisor to the Prime Minister, to think about the foreign policy of Thailand with the ethnic and also to support humanitarian along Thai-Myanmar border. We don't know yet, like Chan also said, position of the new government, because they are just new, no, few months, but however they have so many things for them to do. But this issue will be bring to them, and also to discuss with them. I think that we will meet with the advisor to the Prime Minister end of this November, and we will bring this issue also to consult with him.
We have a question online. Can you read the question, please?
Yes. Hello. Okay, so there is the question from the online, and I will read for her, for them. The question is, what is the main call from the people on humanitarian aid? Okay, so I will repeat that. What is the main call from the people on humanitarian aid? Yeah, this is the question.
What is the main call, or what is the main demand?
Yeah.
Main call from
The humanitarians.
from the people on the humanitarian aid.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Maybe you want to answer. Oh, Kelvin or Ibu.
Okay. Yeah. For the humanitarians call, the very important thing once is about the security issues, because when we want to add more humanitarian assistance, more health workers, humanitarian workers, etc., and there is no security guarantee for this situation, so that's useless. So the first one is how to protect the safety zone with the properly security guarantee. For the security guarantee, we call for first Thai authority and ASEAN authority first to put the agenda as the first agenda about to become the regional security issues on the table. So what happened in Myanmar at the border area, it's become the happen of the Asian security issue in this time. The second one is how to develop the security issue at the local level for the humanitarians in all aspects. First, formally with the Asian, with the Thai, and the other neighboring country at the border areas. But the second one, how to develop community-based security border mechanism between the host villages at the border area at Thai and the other one at the Myanmar, especially controlled by the Karani Democratic Defense Groups or armed groups. So it's very possible to make military to military sit together, to make the local authority and local authorities sit together and set up the bottom-up community-based mechanism on the field. This is the first one, call for action about the humanitarian aid. The second one is related with how to add all kinds of humanitarian assistance, food, water supplies, clean water supplies, electricity, blankets, milk for a baby, etc. Because they are the people. The number, it doesn't mean only number. Behind the number is the human life. Thank you.
I think just to summarize what Ibu Mercy has mentioned, I think the biggest call is to strengthen cross-border mechanism for delivery of humanitarian aid. And we are talking this not just on the Thai border, but I think we need to look at it on multiple humanitarian corridors, whether it's with India, China, Laos, Bangladesh, and of course in Thailand. Security is important, safety is important, but one thing as well is a greater transparency and accountability, how resources that have been channeled by even international bodies to ensure such humanitarian aid and resources reach directly to the people that needs them. I think that is very important, because while if we do not improve that mechanism, we do not improve transparency and to ensure that it is not being abused, especially by certain people, it must be seen to reach the aid, seen to reach the people that's really in need in those affected areas.
Thanks. Any other questions or any online questions? No.
Oh, that one.
Oh, sorry, Shamini, go ahead.
Yep, please.
Hi, good afternoon. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. Thank you very much, members of the panel. This was illuminating. So my name is Shamini. I work with the International Justice Mission based here in Bangkok. And our organization works on trafficking, to address trafficking and forced labor issues. So my question is along those lines. We heard from Charles earlier that we are expecting, or you're expecting about 700,000 refugees to move across the borders into ASEAN countries. And I was wondering, from your experience during your recent visits and your conversations, whether you're seeing a nexus with human trafficking activities happening across the border, and if you could elaborate on that. Thank you so much.
Just maybe you can first.
I think let me just answer it. To be fully honest, the fact-finding mission was mainly on the humanitarian aid. So specific questions when it comes to human trafficking wasn't asked. So I think we, at least on my side, I don't think we're in a position to give a very informed comment on that. However, we also acknowledge that such activities do happen at the border, but we are not in a position to give more informed comment on that. Thank you.
Actually, maybe I can add some points related with the situation about the case of the human trafficking, especially for the refugee of Myanmar. We don't talk about the how many or all detail about it, but we can add some point related with these issues. From the several meetings, we get the information to fulfill their livelihood, because most of them want to go outside to seek another job or work or something like that to fulfill to get the better life or their family life or their life. So in this emergency situation, Thai authority already developed like a buffer zone, not only for the temporarily safety zone, but also for the agricultural zones, for the cattle zone, something like that, so they can do something related to the agricultural for some kind activity related to support their livelihood in daily basis. So it's related with how they can support their life in the very basic requirements to support their lifelong in the camps. So many emergency steps to be done by the Thai authority on the field to support them in this emergency situation. Thank you.
Case of the migrant worker, we would like to explain to you that the IDP is like temporary refugee who cross border to Thailand, and usually they are under the take care and control of the local authority and military. They not allow them to go far away from the area of the control, so that it's not have trafficking issue. But however, there are some refugee who crossed the border illegally for looking for the better life on them, that yes, there are some trafficking issue that bring them from the border to work inside Myanmar, inside Thailand, and that is another topic issue. Thank you.
I'm just going to share with you one or two ideas, but it is not something that came out of this fact-finding mission.
Yeah, that's right.
I think there is this ongoing trafficking of Rohingyas into Malaysia. And this morning at the diplomatic briefing, the European Union representative said that there were 3 boats already in Indonesia today or something. So that's an ongoing process that's already happening. But I know from experience in Malaysia that when things get out of control in Myanmar, like what's happening right now, people use a variety of ways to get into Malaysia. So I know this guy who's not Rohingya, he's actually a Shan guy, and he actually paid his way into Malaysia. That means he actually paid a trafficker to bring him to Malaysia. And he told me a very interesting how he did it though. And I'm sure this is going to increase. But I don't have numbers to share with you. But I can assume that given that 600,000, that's only one part. 700,000 only one part of the country. And you know, if you look at it in context, you can expect increase in trafficking of people though. On forced labor, not yet, but definitely on trafficking is happening. The question is, I think if you start investigating, you will find something coming out. Thanks. Any other questions? Okay, if there are no other questions, let me just thank our panelists for the contribution and also for the ideas, and thank the media for coming on board and reporting on this issue though. If you have any questions, I'm going to say you know who to contact, but who do they contact though? Is there a phone number? I think you have already been forwarded the invite. So at the bottom there will be a name of contacted. What a way of ending this thing. But anyway, thank you very much. Thanks for your attention.
Yes, that's right. Wow, well done.
Yeah. Now done.